As many of you know, Standard is going to be rotating out here very soon on March 25th, and what that means is that the three oldest sets in Standard, including Festival of Legends, Titans, and Showdown in the Badlands, is going to be rotating upon release of Emerald Dream. So I want to showcase a deck that is going to be rotated, sadly, because this deck's very cool, in my opinion, and this is kind of your last chance to play it. And this deck being Hero Power Druid. So Hero Power Druid is going to be missing out on a handful of cards, some minor ones including Mind Control Tech and Leeroy Jenkins. Those are going to be making their way out of the core set upon rotation, but the two most relevant cards is Peaceful Piper and its partner in crime, the Groovy Cat. So Hero Power Druid kind of can't exist without Groovy Cat because the whole deck is pretty much built around it. Because the Groovy Cat reads Battlecry and Death Rattle. Your hero power gives your hero one more attack this game. And this does translate also to the Artanis hero power, which is Twin Blades. So Twin Blades gives a friendly minion and your hero +1 attack this turn, and Divine Shield. So Groovy Cat pretty much doubles up its buff here. So it gives both the minion and your hero that additional attack increase. But that is pretty much Hero Power Druid. You've probably seen it a time or two, but I just kind of wanted to give it its last hurrah before it rotates out fully in a few weeks. So if you enjoy Hearthstone content like this and would like to see more of it in the future, please consider subscribing. Help us get to that goal of 1,000 subscribers. And if you want to help me get in front of some more people, a like goes a long way. Anyway, let's get into some games. We have somebody braving the Paladin class today. Someone's got to play it.
Calm down, I'm just visiting.
So we are looking for Peaceful Piper. There's some argument to keep Frost Lotus Seedling, but I think really it just boils down to find Piper or find Groovy Cat. So let's look for those two cards specifically. And Swing and a Miss. One of the just absolute worst hands you could possibly imagine, but we'll see if we can pull something together. Okay, the hand continues to do a whole bunch of nothing. But if we can draw a Chrono Boost to use this Pylons, we're feeling pretty good. This could also draw Chrono Boost. No, just Groovy Cat. I'm actually going to Innervate that out, just to not float that mana. I know, like, spending an Innervate early isn't the best look, but I think it's a good call. And I don't see myself waiting 3 turns for this, so I think I'm just going to spend it now. And now I have a Chrono Boost lined up for next turn, and I think I am going to take care of their 1-2 and also upgrade my hero power. And it looks like my opponent is doing some hand buffing. Still a pretty good deck. It's kind of fallen off recently, but it's still hand buff. It can do some crazy things. But let's just do some Pylons. Do I just do both of them? It's kind of a bummer to waste my other Pylon just in case I draw Artanis, but if I draw Artanis, this does nothing. Alright, I convinced myself. Let's just develop 2 3/4s with charge. Okay, so we still have not found Groovy Cat or Peaceful Piper. Well, no, we found one Groovy Cat, so our hero power does do a little bit of damage. But my opponent is doing a little bit more than a little bit of damage. Okay, perfect. Groovy Cat will allow me to just hero power down their 4/4. And unfortunately, I do need to do a bit of trading into that 5/3. Pretty good draw for my opponent. So next turn, the best draw I have is Innervate, so I can get out my Artanis. Okay, my opponent has their other weapon already in hand. Bob isn't terrible. I could spend the turn just doing double shoot hero power into that guy just to keep their board clear. And I do think that that is what I'm going to do. Okay. So they've played a lot of hand-buffed minions so far. Next turn is an easy Artanis. My opponent has an easy Painter's Virtue this turn. Clear board. Perfect time for them to do that. Okay, their hand is huge. I think the most responsible thing is just to go face. I do need to get them down a little bit. And next turn is probably Bob. Really, we're just looking for Sing-Along Buddy for our Wombo combo. Okay, my opponent is going to simply just dunk on me, which you gotta respect. So they have a 1/1 Tiger in hand, soon to be a 2/2 Tiger. But I still think it's worth it just to freeze their board and hero power. That way I can draw 2 cards as well and also deal them a little bit of damage. Yeah. So let's freeze their stuff and hit them for a sizable amount of damage. Okay. So, as long as they don't deploy a taunt, I think I have lethal next turn because they have to fight through this board, and these are pretty sticky minions. We know they have a 1/1 plushie, which will now be a 2/2. If they have their Titan, I can phaser it. So if they deploy a taunt, I can deal with it. If they deploy 2 taunts, that's pretty annoying, but I might be able to deal with it. My opponent has a difficult turn ahead of them. Really, this like really shows how cracked Bob is. Like, this freeze effect is absolutely insane. And, like, the steal ability is insane. Just everything this guy does is absolutely insane. Love to see a Salsi on the defense mode. Is this Leeroy in defense mode? Yeah. Leeroy's on defense. Yep, and that would unfortunately be game. I'm not going to show my opponent Leeroy. No need for the BM. Just kidding, here it is. And lethal. Okay, so Bob is messed up, is what we've learned. And Paladin... Hand buff used to be good. I think hand buff days are behind it, unfortunately. Kind of a tricky matchup, but I've navigated it before.
I'm just visiting.
Last time I kept Frost Lotus Seedling, it actually looked pretty strong. So I'm gonna keep it this time around. And just bank on drawing better cards than that. This hand is crazy expensive. But we can always get out of it with a Revelation. Okay, this hand is incredibly expensive. We need Pylons. Pylons would be great. Just, if this draws Pylons, okay. It can only draw minions, I think. Yeah. It says draw a card. If it's a minion, draw it. Yeah. End the turn. So next turn's looking like a coin Chrono Boost, which is pretty... oh my goodness. Alright. Chrono Boost, get me out of this. Okay, perfect. If I draw Innervate next turn, I have a early Artanis. I will also take a Peaceful Piper, if I haven't made that clear. Even a Groovy Cat would be a welcome addition to this hand. Of course not. Okay. Let's Frost Lotus Blossom. It's likely gonna burn a card, but like, okay, that's a fantastic 2 cards to draw. Alright, so let's just strip off that armor. And now we have an early Artanis next turn. And my opponent has all the keywords. Okay. And more New Heights. And more armor and draw. Okay. The warrior experience. And another Pylons to go with my Chrono Boost that I will eventually draw. So let's just shove 8 hull damage this turn. And end the turn. So my hero power is pretty pathetic right now, which I'm sure my opponent is loving. Garrosh's Gift is going to produce a Brawl. A 3/4 always lives. Perfect. Concussive Shells into Concussive Shells. Okay. Perfect. Peaceful Piper is exactly what we want to see. Because this allows us to draw many, many cards. Let's hero power. Draw a handful of cards. In Cactus Construct, I think I will also deploy that. And that will find me the best card I can possibly find. And we do have Bob next turn to deal with their Starship. Or Ziliax. If that's the way they want to do things. So right now my hero power deals 4. Yeah, if they deploy Ziliax, I am definitely bobbing it. And this is currently a 6/3 that likely clears my board. I mean, it doesn't, but like, you know. It's probably gonna have taunt and all that nonsense. Okay. Yep. And it does have lifesteal naturally, because why not? Why wouldn't it? That is pretty annoying. I think I do need to play the Groovy Cat. Part of me doesn't want to kill that though. But like, how do I get past it if I don't? I could swipe here.
What would Tassadar do?
Having 7 attack on this is pretty nasty. I think... Like, I hate to give this Divine Shield, but like... I think it's just kind of what I need to do. So I'm going to take 12 here off of this. This is likely Zilliax that they drew off of the tortilla. And if my opponent does not produce a taunt, fat chance, I do have lethal. Yep. Yep. If I can draw Astral Phaser, I can take care of that for the time being. But is that lethal if I can find that? No. Probably not. Not really sure what... Bob's gonna give me coins? I don't know if I agree with that move. Do I have lethal because they did that? So, Leeroy... I don't think I have lethal.
A conundrum.
So the only minion I have left in my deck is Mixologist. So let's just gain 7 attack. Hit into here. And make my next hero power cost nothing. And I have a lot of mana for next turn. So if they somehow do not produce a taunt, I do just win. Okay, they're doing a bit of a snapshot.
Let's make it count.
And they have good old Jimmy, which will not have taunt, which is very unlucky. Do I win? I think I win very hard, actually. I think I win extraordinarily hard. Yeah. Okay, and then we do a bit of a refresh. Thank you for the coins. And that is probably the most damage I've ever dealt with this deck. Not bad. Shout out to my opponent for not drawing Zilliax. And never rolling taunt with those starships. The Shaman. The Broken class.
Calm down, I'm just visiting.
This hand is bad. All late game cards. Let's see if we can find maybe a bit of an early game. Kind of? Sure, let's go with, okay, I do run this card. Never bad to have an additional buddy. Okay, so the best draw I can do is Chrono Boost or Groovy Cat. Yep, that will also fit the bill. So next turn I can actually hero power into spread the word if they don't deal with my sing-along buddy. I don't mind that. Do I bump first? I think I do. Yeah, let's do a bit of a bump. And yeah, I think it's just an easy hero power. Draw 2, which will draw me 2 again. And then we can Revelation. Hit him for 6, and I will trade off my buddy. I could swing face and try to be a little greedy, but that doesn't seem very advantageous.
Engine screaming.
The downside is the rest of my hand looks terrible. I could bob for drawing. Is that ever worth it? Let's try it out, because the rest of my turn looks pretty bad if I'm not doing this. So it's draw, get 2 copies, and honestly, not terrible. We have many, many buddies. So next turn, hopefully Artanis. Also developing a 4/5 has some value. Missile pod. Popular Pixie. I think it's just be on the aggressive. Yeah. My hand looks suspect, I'll be honest. Cactus Cutter, okay. Into Lock On. Is that what you got off Cactus Cutter? Brilliant. It does always seem to find the perfect card for the opportunity. Chrono Boost is actually pretty solid. So let's do just that. And we have another Chrono Boost we can deploy. I don't mind that. Bump and bump. And my hand continues to not be very impressive. So we need another Groovy Cat desperately. So this is a 3/4 that also deals 5. Okay. They had to be approaching the cheese play, I'm sure. And they do have Growfin. Mixologist could be halfway decent this turn. Or I could just Artanis. Do they typically run Thrall's Gift in this deck? If they do, this is 21...
What shall I
22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So I'm not dead. I'm close to dead, but I'm not dead. Especially if I phaser.
What shall I do?
Stand with me.
Or if I hero power, I'm also not doing too terrible. Let's try that. Let's see if I regret that. I think I still have lethal if they deploy some taunts. So let's see some taunts. Probably a bouncer. Show me bouncer. No, Golganath. Okay. That's also terrifying. But I think it's manageable. And I could also take their Golganath. Yeah. It's probably just a take Golganath. Or I'm taking that. Yeah, it's lethal. Okay. Everybody came out. Everybody had a good time, I hope. So let's make this bad boy go dormant. And yeah, just have a bit of a lethal. Leeroy Jenkins still getting the job done in 2025. Soon to be rotating, my precious Leeroy. Ooh, a priest. Not seen a priest yet today.
Calm down, I'm just visiting.
So let's do a full mulligan because these cards are not great. 2 late game cards and Innervate is not what I'm looking for. Marginally better hand. This could be anything. Maybe even a Groovy Cat. Okay, Bob really wants to be in my opening hand. So does Phaser. Okay, we got our mulligan back. Love to see it. My opponent has a catch of the day. Okay. Into an orbital halo. And I have not much going on. Okay. Am I gonna bump into that 5-2?
Oh dear.
Yeah, that feels bad. But it will set up a phaser for next turn. Not sure how good that was, but it sounded good in practice. Okay. So if I bump into there, I have a guaranteed shot on this. Yeah, let's bump into there and have a guaranteed shot on this. Okay. Mixologist needs to carry me pretty hard. Or I need to just play Chrono Boost. Okay. If that's all they're doing this turn, I'm super happy. Whoa. I was not actually expecting them to only do that this turn. Okay. A little bit more breathing room. Next turn I have the best turn 5 in the deck. Something to note is Groovy Cat and Peaceful Piper are yet again chilling at the bottom of my deck. Not the best Vol'jin I've ever seen. So let's go here into probably bump. Okay, I'm feeling a little better now. I'm feeling a little healthy. My board's better than theirs. I'm at 20. This could be worse. I'm at a virtual 17 with Vol'jin hitting me in the face. But if Groovy Cat wants to show up, that'd be fantastic. Okay, we have an Orbital Halo. I can easily deal with that. I've been meaning to showcase this aggro priest deck for a while now, but every time I play against it, it does something like that. So, probably not gonna showcase the deck. Doesn't seem very impressive.